Hey everyone, my name is Noble Absinthe, and welcome back to my Samurai Jack retrospective. Today we're on Season 4, Episode 4, or Episode 43. The Akuuu Infection. Let's get started. This is one amazing episode, and it starts off on a really silly note. After a regular skirmish with Akuuu, the Master of Darkness, the master of all that is evil, just happens to do one of the most disgusting things ever. He hacks up some phlegm into our hero's throat. Gross! Okay, it's not sounding like a great start to an episode, but trust me, this loogie acts as the catalyst for this entire episode. And as we've seen before with the birth of evil, a little evil can go a long way. Jack starts to hallucinate, passing it off as just some cold from the weather. He's taken in by two friendly travelers, and we see that this black substance is starting to spread across his body. It's the Akuuu infection. Now, Jack unknowingly robbed these two kind people that took him in. Jack is slowly being consumed by evil, and the next incident of this is when he's trying to save a man hanging off from a cliff. The infection is compelling him to drop the man and toy with him. And as we see, it's changing his body to become more and more like Akuuu. The part that breaks him is when he bumps into a robot that can only communicate through beeps and bloops, blops and bleeps. Jack kills this innocent robot out of anger, and it's a horrible sight. It's a slow motion slaying. Jack makes his way to a temple full of salamanders, and oh man, they look adorable. And hey, they got a time portal. I'm sure it's gonna be busted. These little salamanders do put up a good fight though, and do you remember the lesson we learned in Jack versus the Zombies? Akuuu can't kill any of these guys with that sword. But yeah, that time portal is gone. Jack is just not strong enough to fight off Akuu's infection. So in response to this, the master of that area just chloroforms Jack. Pops chloroform in his face. It works. The monks do all that they can to stave off this infection. The only way for Jack to purge this evil from his body is using the good within himself. Jack is so weak right now. He begs for help. This is our hero's lowest point. This is where Jack learns in his mind that he's not really alone. In true meditation, he learns a new perspective and fights off Akuuu in his mind and heart and sets himself free. We end with hope for the future as the master says that he can recreate the time portal. It's just a matter of time. Oh, and at the end, Jack gives back the gems he stole. The old man, well, he might actually be dead. About as dead as that robot. This is my favorite episode of Samurai Jack. I'm just gonna put it out there. In fact, I've been waiting to review this one more than any other, probably like The Guardian too. I think I mentioned that, because I like this one so much. I know people hate this episode or don't see what's really great about it, but that's something I wanted to address. Jack, in true meditation, learns a new perspective, and this episode gives value to all of his past adventures. And while Season 5 might toss away this belief by forcing a cruel end to Jack, this is the episode I always stand by. I think the best thing about this episode are self-reflection, mind over matter, and believing in yourself. Whenever I get down on myself, I get to that place where I don't value any of the accomplishments I've made in my life. I think that's pretty common for people. However, Jack's father said it best. Akuu's victories are not your failures. And that's a lesson that carries over to all facets of life. Of course, just replace the word Akuuu with any problems you're having. Just because someone else succeeds doesn't mean you failed. It's a matter of how you view yourself relative to a situation. On top of the philosophical viewpoint of the episode, I also found it really unique, as it starts off with something as simple as a cold. A simple Achooo from Akuuu snowballed into Akuuu almost beating Jack by mere accident. There are some head scratcher moments with the whole old guy and the dead robot, but I don't find these to take away from my overall experience with this episode. It's more like a moment that kind of came and gone. The old guy was comic relief to a very, if this were real, frightening situation. As for the robot, it was just, there's no ignoring that. That was really messed up. It was a slow motion killing of an innocent being. This is the closest I think Jack has ever gotten to killing an innocent person. But, robots are just robots, as sad as that sounds. Don't worry, season 5 crosses that line a lot. I mean, hell, even if Ashi didn't die due to the grandfather theory, like how are they going to talk about that whole, you killed my entire family, Jack? The only thing the writers could repent on was the stolen gems in this episode. So, yeah, that's like textbook. That's Chekhov's gun. To think that old guy is dead. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, I do read all of them, and check out my Patreon if you're so inclined. All that good stuff. With that being said, have a good day.